The refill task list will allow you to manage all of the incoming refill requests from the pharmacy in an electronic fashion. You'll notice once you've opened up the refill task list, it is broken into 3 different buckets. You have an unsolicited refill list, a pending refill list, and then your list of completed items. The unsolicited list is basically requests that have come in that have not yet been assigned to a provider or a user in the system to fulfill, and the patient may or may not be automatically selected to a patient in the system. So let's just take a look at that. So I've opened up my unsolicited list, and I will select the first one from Michael Smith for 4-1. So what you'll first see is that we need to assign this refill. So right now it's assigned to the group of RX refills. We need to specifically assign this to a user within the system. So I'm going to assign this to Dr. Pepper here. Even if you're the person that is completing this, you need to assign it to yourself. Then what you'll see is the request information. So for example, Michael Smith, 4229 Eastwood Drive, this is the information that came over from the refill. Now what we need to do is match this to a patient in our system. Sometimes this happens automatically, sometimes you manually have to do it. So I'm manually matching this to Michael Smith. So here's that patient in our system. We'll select him. What this is now showing you is the information that we have on file compared to what was sent over. So obviously there's some discrepancies, but we're going to assume that this is the correct patient anyways and move on. Now, as you move down this list, you'll notice this was prescribed by Blair Adams. If you select this square, you will see the original refill request compared to what they are requesting that you refill. Now that we have linked this to a user and to a patient, we can save it. That's going to take this from the unsolicited list and move it into our pending list. So that went from 2 to 1. This went from 5 to 6. Now, it automatically holds on to this information. So if we were the person taking care of this, right from here, we can either approve it or deny it. So again, if you expand any of the information, this is what we have on file compared to what they had sent over. So specifically, this is what they are wanting us to refill. We have all the information here, and we can either approve it or deny it. So in this instance, let's go ahead and approve this. So when you're approving it, you are approving exactly what you see on the screen without any changes. The only thing that you can update is the number of dispensings that you're approving. So maybe we're going to approve 4 dispensing. And if you would like to make a comment, you absolutely can. You do have the ability to check this box to not update the patient's medical record. So in marking this as a refill, we're going to go into the chart and indicate that this particular prescription was refilled. If you don't want that to happen for some reason, you would check that box. But in most circumstances, you should leave that deselected. So for now, we're going to go ahead and approve this and send this on. So this prescription refill would be sent. And if this were a real patient, this would have gone on. Now, let's go back to our unsolicited refill list again. We've got one more for Michael Smith. Okay, it's a different prescription. Still, we need to match this to our patient, Michael Smith, and assign this to a user in the system. And once we've done those 2 things, we'll click Save. And again, we're ready to either approve or deny. Now, remember, the approve means you're approving exactly what you see on the screen. The deny will allow you to do one of 2 things. You can either simply deny it because it was not necessary. Change wasn't appropriate. You need to provide some reason. Maybe we just say refill is not appropriate, and we could just type in any comments there. Or you could just type in comments without selecting from the list. And then select deny. So truly, you're denying it. You do not want them to have that prescription. End of story. The other option is you would like to replace that particular prescription with something different. So you need to make some sort of change to it. So we're going to select replace with. All right, so I'll scroll over here. So we're going to replace this with something. So you'll see that the prescription window opens, and this is just the same prescription window that you would have used to written the prescription. Now everything is automatically dropped in here exactly as it was on the refill. So if you just wanted to change something about this, maybe you want to change how they're supposed to take it, the number they're going to get, or whatever, you could absolutely do that right from here. You can make those changes and then save it. Now, if you decided, you know what, that's not exactly what I want to actually give them a completely new medication, you could perform a drug search and do that as well. Okay. So for now, I'll just imagine I wanted to change this to a 120-day supply. So I'm going to give them 180 of these, and they're going to continue to take one every day. So I'll save that. So now that I've made all the changes that I need, I would be able to go ahead and send this prescription off electronically, and that would have marked this as a replace as opposed to approving that exact prescription that came over. Additionally, as you do that, all these items will drop into your completed list, and you can see that there as well. And you have the ability to search for your refill. So if a patient calls in and asks if a refill ever came in or if it was ever approved, you'd be able to go through and search and find those. Like maybe I'd like to find all of the completed refills for Michael Smith. I could perform a quick search, and here's the one that we had worked on just a second ago. And you'll notice as you do that, you can see the response, user deleted refill request.